it's Kira and welcome to Polymer Clay TV. Today I'm going to show you how to create a really great little tool for yourself. This is a poking tool and a couple of keychains, and I'm going to use the same technique but a couple different parts and pieces. So for these two I used the Floral Fantasia stamp, Floral Fantasy, sorry, and for this one I used the Bohemian Rhapsody texture sheets and the Gypsy Scroll mold. So as you can see, these all feature texture and designs on both sides, and I'm going to show you a really easy and fun way to get that done. So let's get started. Sculpey released some new accents colors recently, and I just want to show you how beautiful they are. So this is the white gold glitter Primo accents. This is yellow gold glitter, and this is rose gold glitter. And this is just really, really fun clay because it's got the professional quality of the Primo, but it's got the fancy schmancy glitter stuff, which, if you know me, I am very into my glitter. So when you make an object out of this clay, it's gorgeous. So here I have conditioned some, and you can see even in the conditioning process, the clay is naturally chatoyant, which means like it's got the rivers of mica running through it, and you can see depth even in a flat piece. So I have a feeling this clay would be super for some of the ghosting techniques. So like doing a rubber stamp ghost image or the mica shift technique. So that's not where I'm going today. Where I'm going today is just a very simple, fun little project to show you one of my favorite tools and how to make it personal. So I'm just going to go ahead and knead this clay into a ball. Like so. And one of my favorite tools ever is just a simple poking stick made from a bamboo skewer. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can wreck this tool. This is a jewelry making tool. It's just a cutter, wire cutter. And it's good because it smashed the bottom of my stick a little bit, which is nice because it'll help it stick better in the clay. I'm just going to embed it, stick it in there. And then I'm going to take this rubber stamp. This is the Floral Fantasy rubber stamp, and I actually drew this myself. This is my drawing turned into a stamp, available at Polymer Clay TV and nowhere else because, you know, that's my shop and that's where we're selling it. But look at the level of detail. So I just want to show you a fun way to use an unmounted stamp. So I'm just going to put this here, fold the stamp over, and press my tool between the two sides of the stamp. So now my design is on both sides. I'm going to take some Pearl-Ex powder in Flamingo Pink because pink is my signature color, and I'm just going to rub it on the tops of the design. See if you can get closer. So I'm just rubbing it on top to bring everything out so you can see the pretty details in the stamp. And then I'll flip it over and do the other side. So this is a great technique if you want to make something double-sided, like a fan pull, a tool like I'm doing right now. Anything that needs to actually have a design on both sides. You can take your big unmounted rubber stamps and just fold them right over on themselves. It works great. So just make sure that I've got a little dusting of my Pearl-Ex on the outsides of my tool here, and then I'm just going to lay it on the tile and bake it. And I'm going to have a really cool needle tool that fits my hand and is made with my design, and it's beautiful. Here's another fun thing you can do. I just lost my keychain. I've had the same keychain for years and years and years on my purse, holding on to my keys, because if I don't have a nice big keychain, I tend to lose them. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a stacked set of discs here to make myself a new keychain. So I'm not going to be super precise about it. I'm just going to make a circle number 1 with the gold, and I'm going to do the same technique here. I'm going to smush it between two sides of the stamp. This way it'll look nice from the front and the back. So I've got my disc number 1. And I've got a couple pieces of this. So I'll flatten this on the one side, and I'm not going to press down. I'm going to just lay it there. Get a little more clay. Flatten this one out a little bit for the other side. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to smush it so that those discs are also flattened and incorporated with the design. See that? So it's the design everywhere. Makes a great keychain because it's on all the sides. So now all I've got to do is maybe let's put a little Pearl X on it, and then I'll antique it when it comes out of the oven. So this one, let's see, let's do a little duo blue-green around the edges. And as long as you don't handle this so much that you're smushing it, do it here too. You should be just fine having the design on both sides. Okay, so I'll hit it with some darker paint to bring out the colors later after it's baked. And as a finishing touch, I'm going to do two things. Of course, I need it to have a hole, so we'll just grab this tool I made and poke a hole through there for later. And I'm going to take this Memento Luxe ink and run it along the sides. Maybe use my finger to do just a little aging up along the edges before I put it in the oven. This is a great mixed media ink that kind of changes color when you bake it, so I like it because it's unpredictable. It mostly changes to a verdigris looking color, so it's going to go really good with this. Like that color that copper goes when it ages, that sort of green. Okay, so I'll just lay that on my tile, bake these, and I'll have two really quick fun projects with one stamp and one idea. Let's take this idea of double-sided a little further using our Bohemian Rhapsody texture discs. And I have a cutter, this is a plum blossom cutter, and some Versa Magic ink. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to cut out a plum blossom without impressing the design. I'm just cutting it out. So I just have a plain plum blossom, which will fit on these discs. And I am going to ink the disc. And I'm going to leave the ink right in there and not swab it off or anything. Just leave it. And then I'm going to sandwich my flower between the two discs, like so. Put pressure. So I've made a sandwich with the clay in between, and I'm just pressing the discs into the clay. And then I'm going to bake it like this. So I'll be back in half an hour after this is baked. Let's finish this one off now that it's come out of the oven with that pretty sort of verdigris look on the edges. I'm going to use an antiquing technique with a color instead of with what you typically see this done would be with a brown clay, or brown paint, I'm sorry. So I'm just not going to antique the whole thing. I'm going to go up in these cracks, like so. And wipe that back. So that it's sort of glowing around the center. My brush was quite wet, so let's try on this side, just in the cracks between the two pieces where they meet. Just get your paint up in there, and then this time I might even just use my finger to wipe the paint back down into the cracks. This paint is quite watery and weak, so when I do it with my cloth, I'm actually taking so much paint off that you're not even seeing the effect. But here you can see how it highlights the raised parts of the design. They stay the color of the clay and pearlax beneath, and then you can just kind of blush areas with the paint. You could even go like that and highlight it and bring it all together. Just with a simple application of a little bit of paint. Further brings out the details when you have a very detailed pattern or stamp that you're working with. And the antiquing process is totally up to you. You keep going or you stop when you decide that you have enough detail. And because this is my project and I say when it's done, I'm going to add some more stuff to it. This is one of our favorite inks. This is a Brilliance ink, it's a Dewdrop by Sukaneko, which I think has a new name now. I'll look it up for you. This color is Lightning Black, and it's amazing. And I am just going to touch this to the tops of my design. And it really makes it look aged and beautiful. It brings it all together, brings out that design even more. And this is a heat set ink, so this is going to go pop right back in the oven for just a couple minutes to set the ink. This is one of my favorite colors ever, Lightning Black. It's sort of a gold black color. So have fun. Let's see how our design came out. So here you can see the plates that I used, and we've got this gorgeous, very light texture on here, and you can see that some of it is covered with ink and some is not. And I'm going to take this. This is a 1500 grit sandpaper that you can get at the hardware store. And I'm going to give this a couple swipes. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull some of the ink right off of the textured areas, because the 1500 grit is really a lot like a polishing cloth, and it just kind of does a very light sanding job, and it pulls some of it back off of the areas there, so now you can start really seeing the texture. So when I peel this off the other side, you can see that the side that I really pushed in there good picked up. This is the first side that I pressed it down onto, and it picked up the design really well. It got into all the cracks and raised parts, and it's beautiful. So I don't really have to do anything to this side. And now to finish it off, because my intention here is that this is going to be part of my keychain, I am going to take whatever part of the design didn't come out as good, so this part right here, and I'm going to use this gypsy scroll mold. And I'm going to make a couple little leaves. These two parts right in here are like facing leaves. So I've got some of the gold, the yellow gold glitter clay, and I'm just going to mash it in to this leaf design here. This one came from the one next to it. And then pop that out. And I'm going to face them to each other on the top here with my ball chain in between, like this. So I can just press them together. They're going to hold onto my ball chain, and they're going to provide sort of a bail on top of my flower. And then you can do whatever you want. So there's that one and this one, which came out of the oven with it. And my tool. So 3 easy peasy projects with the same idea of getting a texture on both sides by smashing your clay in between 2 tools. Or 1 tool if you take a really big rubber stamp and make a sandwich. So I hope you had a lot of fun with this technique, and post pictures on Facebook of what you made. Make sure that you come over to polymerclaytv.com and follow the links to Facebook, like us, and share what you make. See you next time!